everyone, I'm Tanaz from foreverconscious.com and this is your weekly energy forecast for the week of March 15th. While there has just been some crazy energy happening in the world at the moment, it's definitely a lot of heightened energy, a lot of sort of anxious, heightened energy. So I hope you are doing all you can to stay in your center, to stay in your balance. And speaking of balance, this week we have the March Equinox. It happens on the 19th or 20th, depending on your time zone. So the equinox is when the sun crosses the celestial equator and we get equal hours of night and day. And I was thinking about the symbolism for this, and I think it's really perfect. So this idea of night and day, it's really about light and matter. You know, the physical, dense matter that we are, and then also the light that we are, you know, on the inside. On the outside, we're a physical shell, but on the inside, we are light. And as Mother Earth creates this beautiful balance for us, maybe we can be encouraged and reminded to do the same for ourselves. Honoring our physical journey, paying attention to the thoughts, maybe the fears, maybe the things that we have to organize and take care of in our lives at the moment, looking after our physical bodies, but then also remembering the light that we are and the inner strength that we can feel when we connect to that light, that love that we can connect to. And when we connect to our light, it's also easier for us to look at what's going on around us and feel confident that there will be some growth and transformation from this experience, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that this too shall pass, that we can use this experience to grow and enhance our lives. Even though that pathway may not be clear for us at the moment, we can aim to align ourselves with that higher vibration and to be that light, still, calm peace for ourselves and for others. So think about how you can start to create some of that balance in your life, especially with all the sort of chaos that's going on in the world around you. We have to pay attention to the physical. We have to pay attention to, the matter and the physical body that we are, but we also cannot ignore the light that we are. And just the same, to find that balance, we can't completely check out. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to, but it's about really finding that balance between being present here in the world, but also remembering who we are at the core, our true essence. So that's a little wisdom for your equinox, which happens on the 19th, or the 20th, depending on your time zone. So we have a string of days happening at the end of this week. So it begins with the equinox. On the next day, we have Mars and Jupiter coming together. We call this a conjunction. Mars and Jupiter come together every 2 years or so. So this is kind of rare energy. It's very upbeat energy, actually. It's fiery. It's energy that makes us feel motivated. Also with that equinox, the sun is moving into Aries. So we are starting the astrological year because it's the first sign of the zodiac. And we're entering into a fire sign. And then we have Mars, which is a very fiery planet, aligning with Jupiter, the planet of abundance and expansion. So we get this, strong, fiery, kind of upbeat, motivating, really kind of physical energy. And, this energy is great to use to feel motivated, to maybe think about things that you want to do in your life. How can I start taking steps and actions? But of course, with the current climate, that might not be possible for everybody. You might feel a little held back, restricted. Maybe even though we do have this sort of upbeat energy, maybe you feel like, I can't move forward because everything's at a standstill around me. Well, don't worry, because we also have other opportunities for this energy all through the year. But know that we can also use this energy to go within and think about how we can look after ourselves on an internal level, and to use this fiery energy to kind of align and prepare ourselves for that moment when we can start taking steps forward in the outside world. So again, maybe we can't take steps in the physical, material world due to situations going on, but we can start taking steps in that inner world. So see how you can kind of create that balance under this Mars-Jupiter alignment. And then the next day, which is the 21st, we have Saturn changing signs. Saturn will move into the sign of Aquarius. This is huge. So Saturn changing signs is definitely a very, very significant event in astrology. This is just a little taste because later in the year, Saturn will retrograde, go back into Capricorn, which is where it currently is until the 21st. And then it won't get back into Aquarius till December. So December 2020 is really when we're going to start feeling this Saturn shift, but we're getting a little bit of a taste right now. So this Saturn changing signs, and then also this Mars-Jupiter alignment, which happens just before, may activate things that have been brewing for the last sort of 2.5 years. So Saturn is the planet of karma, and it has been very, very active all through the end of last year and the start of this year. And that Mars-Jupiter alignment will kind of help to trigger and activate some of this energy. So I have written some articles about it. I'll post it below because it is kind of a lot to get into here. So I'll put links to those articles below. But basically, we are wrapping up a karmic cycle. We're entering into a new one. And this is happening on both a personal level and on a global level. And we're definitely seeing that on a global level. So think about, and it might be hard to think about, our own personal journey because there's so much noise in the world at the moment. But maybe think about the journey that you have been on for the last 2.5 years. What have you learned? What have you been encouraged to take responsibility for? How have you been challenged to grow? Because this is usually the themes of Saturn. It challenges us to take responsibility. It challenges us to kind of mature and grow up in a way. And it sort of challenges us to think about what we want and the steps that we're going to take to make that happen. So kind of like that responsibility kind of feel. And we're wrapping that cycle up on an individual level with our individual lessons, but also on a global level as well, which I believe is part of what we are seeing now. Hopefully we can use all of this energy to shift into a positive, higher vibration and direction, and we can be that change. We can start with our selves and help to inspire others around us. So it is a really big week. With this increase in fiery energy as well, we might start to see some heated emotions, and it can kind of stir up maybe feelings of fear and panic and those kind of more fiery emotions. So just try to stay balanced, try to stay in your center. Know that we can tap into higher vibrations of this fiery energy, which is sort of this feeling of purposefulness, direction, taking positive action. See if you can kind of keep yourself in that vibration. So there are, definitely interesting times ahead, but this is what we do. We work on the inner self. So when situations like this are happening in the world or in our personal lives, when we're faced with difficulties, we have some tools to help guide us through any of the anxiety, pain, or suffering we may be experiencing. So if you're watching this video, I know you've been doing the work. This is a time to put it to practice. And what perfect way, in a way, to, think of it like that as we start and wrap up this old karmic cycle, even wrapping up this old astrological year and heading into this new year, we're getting to, use everything we have learnt so we can enter into this new wave, this new high vibe energy, which 2020 still holds. I think I spoke about that. We have definitely higher energies to tune into this year, and maybe this is our opportunity to really put it to work. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys all have a wonderful week. Stay safe. I am Tanaz from foreverconscious.com. Thank you so much.